Peyton Gillum, and I'm here to talk about baseball versus softball. Imagine playing 3 softball games in one day, winning all of them and being so proud of yourself and your team pulling out all the wins, and the first thing you hear is, "How did your baseball games go?" Well, that is one of the most annoying things that anyone can say to a softball player. Today I would like to tell you about the differences between softball and baseball. After having played softball for 15 plus years of my life and growing up with 2 brothers who have played baseball their whole lives, I know the difference between the two. First, I'm going to tell you about the technical or rule differences between softball and baseball. Then I will tell you about the differences in having a future playing these sports, and finally, I will tell you about the cultural differences between the two. Everyone knows what baseball is. Unfortunately, the same does not go for softball. If you're a female and you play softball, many people might assume you just play the girls' version of baseball. But they're wrong. George Hancock created softball, then known as indoor baseball, in 1887 after modeling its rules and regulations after baseball. However, throughout the years, softball has evolved. Today stands as its own recognizable sport. Baseball and softball are very similar sports from an outside appearance, but once you look closely at the rules of how the two are played, they are actually very different. Pitching, perhaps, might be the most obvious difference between baseball and softball. Baseball involves overhand throwing from an elevated mound in a pitching circle that extends to about a 9-foot radius. Another major difference between the pitching is the distance from the mound to the home plate. In softball, the pitching distance is 60 feet and 6 inches, whereas in softball, the distance falls anywhere from 35 to 43 feet. Okay, the balls in baseball and softball are very different. Baseballs are a lot smaller and denser than softballs. Baseballs have a 9-inch circumference, while softballs tend to have a 12-inch circumference. The color is also a pretty dead giveaway that they're different. Softballs are generally yellow once they hit the 12-inch circumference, and baseballs are always white. Leadoffs are another difference. This area of the game is also vastly different between both sports. In baseball, a runner is allowed to lead off or attempt to steal anytime the ball is live. In softball, the runner is only allowed to leave the bag once the ball is released from the pitcher's hand. Otherwise, it is an automatic out. Baseball and softball are not only different in the basic rules, but also in the future that the sport can provide for a player. Such as professional ball. When people think of professional ball, most generally only think of Major League Baseball, not National Pro Fast Pitch, softball's professional league. This expected, though, since the NPF has only 4 professional teams to MLB's 30. The average player's salary for Major League Baseball is $3.27 million per season. The average player's salary for National Pro Fast Pitch is $2,000 to $5,000 per season. More often than not, NPF softball players play professional softball as a part-time pastime. Most players have regular jobs and commit their leisure time to professional softball. The average number of years a player will commit to an NPF team is usually about 2, largely for financial reasons. But if a player can get endorsements and coaching jobs, they will generally play longer, such as Jenny Finch, who signed a record-high $10,000 annual contract in 2004 with the Chicago Bandits. And with the endorsements after the Beijing Olympic Games, Finch was accumulating about $400,000 per year due to softball. However, Jenny Finch is a rare phenomenon, and unfortunately, women's softball has also been taken out of the Olympics. The atmosphere or culture of baseball and softball are completely different from each other. There may always be a rivalry between baseball players and softball players, born from the debate as to which pitchers are more difficult to hit. This question is tough to answer because of the difference in distances and reaction times. Ultimately, the sports are similar, but there are obvious differences beyond just the gender of the players. Softball has grown far beyond its infant stage as indoor baseball with George Hancock, and today it is played across the world. It may not be as recognizable as baseball, but its popularity is steadily on the rise. Thank you.